Now joining us, the driver of the number 8, Chip Ganassi Racing Honda, Marcus Ericsson, of course, among other things, the reigning Indianapolis 500 champion. Ready to get back at it later this week?
Yeah, that sounds good. I like your introduction of me there.
Yeah, we can only use it for a couple more months, the reigning part of it anyway.
Yeah.
So you'll always be an Indy 500.
Yeah, you can always say Indy 500 champion.
Correct.
That's a good thing with winning that race.
Correct. How many more things do you have associated with the 500? You got a ticket unveil probably coming up? Is that right?
I think it's going to be a lot of things. I'm not sure yet. I've said that I'm available, so I'm sure they're going to include me in a lot of stuff. But it's all fun. It's been a busy off season for sure because of it, but busy in a very good way.
Tell us a little bit about the preparation during the off season, and now you're going to get going back on track Thursday at Thermal. Yeah,
it's IndyCar off season is a bit longer than I maybe would like, but yeah, it's been good. We've been focusing on trying to improve our package for this year. We feel like we have some areas where we could improve from last year, so we've been focusing on that, trying to become better as a team, as a driver. I've been focusing a lot on myself to try and improve my performance for this year. We were close to winning both the championship and the 500 last year, so we need to keep pushing to try and do that this year.
All right, questions in person. Stand by for those of you on the Zoom. We'll get to you momentarily, or try to get to you momentarily as well. Stand by. Let's start with Bruce.
You made it all the way to the last race of the year, still in the championship battle, although it would have taken a pretty big effort to win it. So how much urgency do you feel to get a championship this season?
I don't know if I feel urgency, but I definitely target it. Like you said, I had a chance going into the final, but I was also leading the championship for a long time last year. So I'm still a bit pissed off about the ending of last year, because I felt like we were having a really strong year, and then like the last 3 races or so, we just sort of fell off a little bit. So that was disappointing, but it's given me a lot of motivation to work hard in the off season to try and be better this year. So it's definitely our goal, to try and get that championship this year. No doubt about
that.
Nate. Marcus, when you look at the Ganassi lineup for this year, obviously some changes, maybe not so much changes, but obviously you got Takuma coming in, Jimmy obviously not racing full time anymore. Alex is coming back, but from our understanding, it's for this year only. And of course, Dixon's always the team leader, but I'm just wondering, for you, how do you look at all of that, and especially for you long-term, and maybe becoming, long-term, it seems like you're going to be the Ganassi mainstay based on all of those factors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling very much at home in the team, and I think, I've been there a few years now, and I'm super happy about that, and I wish to stay for a very long time as well. Like you say, there is some uncertainty with other places maybe in the future, but Dixon seems to be just getting better and better, so he might be here for another 10 years or so. Who knows? But that's great. I think me and Scott, we work really well together, and I can still learn a lot from him. So I'm happy to be in the team, and like I said, I want to be here for a long time and win races and championships together.
And for the end of this week, getting on track at Thermal, what's your understanding about why this is a good place for IndyCar to hold a preseason test, why you guys are here, why it makes sense, even though you're not racing at it? And what do you feel like you can learn at this track that might apply to other current tracks on the schedule?
I think this time of the year, it's really hard to find places for us to go testing. And, usually we test at Sebring, like the short course at Sebring, but we've done I've only been here for 4 years, starting my 5th year, and I feel like I've done I don't know how many days of testing at Sebring short course. So for me, this is a lot better to come here. I like a lot the idea of having the preseason testing, official testing back on the calendar, to get all the teams and drivers together. It's for me that gives more, because testing is testing, but you can still sort of compare a little bit to your competitors and see a bit where you stand compared to the others. So I think that's a big plus. And then, it's fun to see new places. I think the track looks pretty cool. I've only seen it on video and YouTube. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge to get used to that. But I'm happy we're here. And like I said, I prefer this over doing private testing in Sebring like we've done the last couple of years.
like saying, "Yeah, I can apply this to
Yeah, I think Portland is probably the closest. Some parts of Portland, I would say, is closest to this track. But it has a lot of slow corners, first gear corners by the simulations we've made. So I don't know how, relevant it will be to other tracks. But it has, in the end of the lap there's a quite fast complex as well. There's going to be a challenge for the car and driver as well. So I think in general, though, if we find stuff here that works, I'm hoping it's going to be able to translate to other road courses on the calendar.
Nathan.
Marcus, you mentioned watching YouTube clips. Felix was in here earlier and was talking probably similarly about watching a YouTube video of this track. Is that really when you don't have don't have it loaded on a simulator? Is that almost kind of the best way to prepare for a track like this where there's so many unknowns?
Yeah, it's kind of back to old school way of learning racetracks before we had simulators and that. So, because I haven't. Maybe there is some simulator you can find this track. I don't know, but I haven't found it at least. So, I went back to how I did it in 15 years ago, or whatever, and just looked at the track map and then found some onboard clips and then on YouTube some Ferrari dude driving around. So I was watching that and sort of just trying to picturing how an IndyCar would run on it and sort of trying to get an idea at least so I know it's going right to left down the straights. So that's a good way to start. But it'll be a bit challenging, but we have 2 days. So I think also, us drivers these days, I feel like after 10 or 15 laps, you're sort of into a track anyway. And then, of course, you can always find more if you do more days and more testing. But I feel like after 10 or 15 laps, I'm going to be pretty much up to speed with the track. So it shouldn't be a problem.
When you walked in here, I'm assuming the folks that were following you in here were with Vice taping the 100 Days to Indy. I know we're in the early stages of that, but and I know you had experience taping the first season of Drive to Survive. What has your experience been like so far, getting the show kicked off behind the scenes?
Yeah, we've been filming a little bit here the last week or so, and it's been super cool. It's good people. You can tell that they've experienced of this type of stuff from before, sports documentary, and I've said it before. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be great for the series. It's going to be great for us drivers, and I've been trying to be as open as I can and sort of told them that whatever you guys want to come along to, just join, and that's going to be good content. Let's do it. So I'm hoping it's going to help all of us to get the series out there, get the sport out there, and get new fans.
Emma, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Marcus. The track at Laguna Seca is being repaved, and you mentioned that you're not really pleased with the way the season ended. How do you think the track at Laguna Seca being repaved will maybe change potential outcomes, especially given the way you were able to get darn close to winning?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think Laguna is one of the best tracks on the calendar, but the surface there the last few years it's just become so slick that it's almost been like last year when we were there, we were basically driving rain lines. We were going outside the normal racing line just to try and find grip. And it was just, I think it was entertaining to watch in some ways because it was very tricky to drive. But the driving experience was not the best I found because it was just so low grip. It was driving in the rain, but it was not raining. So it was weird. So that's why I'm excited about the repavement. I think it's going to be good for the track. Maybe the racing will be a little bit less overtaking, but I think it's still going to be an entertaining race. And I think it's going to be good that they have a new pavement there.
We'll go Steve, then Bruce. Go ahead, Steve.
Ring looks good.
Yeah, I thought I'd
Get
bring
used
it
to
along,
wearing
flash
that,
it up. I still, like I said, I can still wear it for a bit longer.
You can wear it forever.
Is it big enough? Is my question.
It's not very comfortable, but it's okay. We're getting that, but I think it's now in February or something. Yeah, I haven't received that one yet.
Anyways, your qualifying improved last year a little bit, but I'm assuming that's where most of your gains can come? Is that car related, driver related, combination?
I think a combination. I think us as a team, it's been one of our weaknesses the last couple of years that we are not qualifying as high as we should. I think on race day, I'm not scared of anyone on race day. I think we are, on the 8 car, we're always going forward in the races, and we're always very strong in the races. So it's no secret that we need to improve on qualifying day, and that is us in the 8 car, but also Chip Ganassi Racing as a whole. I think if we all can improve, it's going to help us, because these days as well, IndyCar is becoming more and more competitive. It's so many good drivers and teams that if you start mid pack, it might be long races, but to win a race from mid pack is getting harder and harder. So it's been one of the big focus areas in the off season to try and find things in the setup, in the way to understand the tires, stuff like that, to mainly improve our qualifying performance. So it's been a big focus for us, and it's going to be interesting this week to see if we have found some things that we think is going to work, and then apply that throughout the season.
Bruce?
2 Marcuses on the same team. Is that going to get confusing in the debriefs?
Yeah, it is. I'm angry. Yeah. I think we're okay. He seems like a good kid, and I mean he have a good name, so it's,
but working with a new driver, a rookie driver, obviously he comes with a lot of accomplishment. So far, what are your impressions?
Yeah, I've only met him a few times here, but young guy that has been with the Ferrari program for quite a few years. So he's been successful over in Europe in Junior Series. I know that it's a big step coming over here to America, and it's a big challenge, but he seemed to be very committed for it. So, I think it will be a good addition to the team, and also in combination with Taco, of course. I think that's it's very exciting. He's going to be a threat on every oval we go to. So, I feel like we have a very strong team.
Let's go, Mary. Then we'll take 1 or 2 off Zoom. Go ahead, Mary.
Marcus, you mentioned that you want to do better as a team in qualifying. Do you think it would make a difference if you had longer track time for practice? Is that where you're not quite getting the setup that you need? Because it used to be that IndyCar had longer, sometimes 2 practice sessions on Friday for a road course. Now there's 1, and maybe you still have the same amount of time total, but you don't necessarily have time to take the car back, make changes, and bring it back out to run it.
Yeah, I think it definitely would make life easier. The problem is that everyone would maybe get better as well. So I think it's, in the end of the day, we can't really, blame that, let's say. I think that would, I would prefer, I love driving race cars, so the more practice and then test days we could get, the better it is. But the way it is now, we still have enough time to get the setup right in a race weekend. And I think Ganassi as a team, we are very good at simulations and preparations, and I always feel like we're good at sort of unloading with good cars. But yeah, I think we just need to find a bit more peak performance. I think our cars are some of the best on the grid for like consistency and drivability for the drivers, but we're looking a little bit for some more peak performance, and I think that's gonna be the key for us in qualifying to get our average up a bit more.
Let's take 2 off Zoom before Marcus heads out. Let's begin with Ben Johnson from the Paddock Eye. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Marcus. Welcome back.
Thank you.
What do you think you learned last season that you can bring into this year?
What do you think you learned last year that you can take into 2023?
Yeah, exactly. I know what it takes to win in 500. Yeah. No, I think you're always learning a lot every year. I think last year, running up front, leading the championship for a long time, that was something that, that experience has helped me into this year. Just the confidence in general, being an Indy 500 champion and, race winner, all that is going to help me this year. So it's hard to pinpoint on one specific thing, but I definitely feel like I'm getting better and better here every year in the IndyCar Series.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. How about Eric Smith from Race Review Online? Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, Marcus, I'm just curious. Obviously, in your early years, you're learning the track, you're learning the cars, you're learning the tires, you're just constantly learning different aspects. But when recently has it changed to, like you said, trying to find out qualifying, you're trying more racecraft stuff. When did that journey kind of shift from learning tracks and cars to more now racecraft to try to become more of a championship contender?
I'm really struggling to hear.
Eric, try again.
Yeah, when did your journey change from learning tracks or car to maybe racecraft now? Now you're trying to find out qualifying or ovals. When did that journey change and shift to you?
When did your attention turn towards from maybe just being good in the car versus racecraft and taking your driving to another level, perhaps?
Yeah, I think racecraft is something I learned a lot in my Formula One years. Planning a race, driving, thinking, longer ahead in stints, taking care of my tires, fuel, stuff like that. So I think my racecraft I really started to master in Formula One, and it was one of my big strengths in F1. And I feel like I brought that to IndyCar, and it's been my strength really from year one. I felt like I was pretty good in the races. Of course, you always try and become better and better. I try and analyze a lot and work hard with my engineers to understand and be involved in a lot of things. And I think that helps me on race day to be prepared. And it's the same thing, that's what we've been working on hard now in the off season to try and improve on the qualifying side to sort of analyze and understand why we're lacking a little bit more there comparing to the races. So it all comes down to hard work and having good people around you and being open to try new things.
And a quick follow-up, your peers last year, the paddock, really started being more vocal about the respect they have for you and your racecraft. I believe it was Iowa. I think it was Joseph and Will were both giving you a lot of praise. How much does that kind of mean to you as a driver to know that the peers, the respect level is in high regard to them?
No, of course it means a lot. But at the same time, you sort of race for yourself in a way. I think IndyCar is, if not, I think one of the absolute toughest series in the world. Is amazing drivers here in the series, and I feel like the last couple of years I've shown that I could be fighting up front, winning races, and fighting for championships. So, but yeah, of course that it means a lot to get respected by your competitors.
Thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. We'll keep you back. Try to get you back on schedule here. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah,
You're good to go.
Thanks,
Marcus
guys.
Ericsson.